Hello everybody. We are how to success from Forsage Tron. We are listen to leader.
I'm not sure, almost 100,000. I think we're at 80 something thousand members. We'll see here in the back office in a second when I log in. But this is the landing page here so that you guys can see when you come in and check it out. We'll scroll on down. You can see some of the basic information and talking about the fact that it's zero risk. You know, this is a smart contract. Those of you guys who do not know what a smart contract is, basically it's a program, it's a coded coded program on the Tron network. Now they did it likewise with the Ethereum network, where we can put together these type of programs, and not only programs where we're able to, work together and have an opportunity to make money like we're doing, but these basically are immutable, meaning that they can't be changed, they can't be tampered with, and so on and so forth. And that allows for a decentralization, so to speak, where there isn't a centralized wallet that all the money is going into. And people who've been into these kind of platforms before, and crypto in particular, know that oftentimes it's a centralized situation, and you've got the admins or whoever it might be that take the money in, and then they close the website down, and then they're running off into the sunset with your funds. And this does not happen here. In fact, no money ever goes into the contract for Forsage, not on the Ethereum or on the Tron platform. So the money is distributed accordingly to the appropriate partners. So again, we don't have to worry about being scammed with respect to people running off with our money. So yeah, as you can see, as I scroll down here, I think this is based on the Ethereum. Yeah, this is showing the amount of Ethereum, not the Tron. But regardless, you can see here, this is where we will log in. Let me in fact go ahead and do that and show people. I'm going to log in. Now it gives you the option to do either Ethereum, go into the Ethereum platform, or the Tron. And of course, we're going to be talking about Tron here today. So let me go ahead and log in over there. And as you can see here, there's two ways of going into your back office. You can go into view mode, which you can actually look at anyone who has signed up and is a member. You can look from ID number 1 all the way to ID 80,000 and whatever we're at right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ID in. And actually, I'm going to go right on into view mode. Otherwise, you do have to have your Tron Link wallet or another wallet. And a lot of us are on mobile. So you will have to make sure that if you want to go in directly and to be able to have access to upgrading and to do some of the other features, you have to make sure that you're not in view mode and that you are logged into your, in this case up here, I'll show you guys my Tron Link wallet. Make sure that you're logged in like so. Before you do that, put your either your ID, or you can put your Tron address in there as well. And then of course you go to automatic login as opposed to the viewing mode. So here we are in the back office. And I'm going to go ahead and dive straight on into the instructions, and we'll talk about some of the details of the back office, or the dashboard rather, in a second. But yeah, let me go ahead and get to how this thing works. So with Forsage, again, you guys, we are going into two programs, so to speak. All right. Now, when we come in with our registration of 200 Tron, that's going to open up the first income slot on X3, and it's going to open up the income slot on X4, the first income slots. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit different, right? X3, you've got one row, and on X4, you have two rows. All right. Now, X3, going back up there, this is what we call the active side, where you are actively bringing in people yourself to fill in the pay positions here underneath the income slots. Those positions will not be filled unless you have people that you referred in that come in, and everyone's going to come in. Anyone that you refer in is going to again take that first income slot, and that will will happen for everyone that you bring in, and then it recycles and so on and so forth. But as people upgrade their income slots on X3, likewise your referrals, they will have to upgrade to fill in the positions underneath X3. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's the active side, as opposed to the team build on X4, which is a combination. And these positions is a combination. It can be filled by either your referrals that you bring in, or what I like to call overflow from above, as people rotate in and out of pay positions. Now again, the first row of X4, this is where, again, I call these the rotating payment positions, because again, when those positions get filled, you don't get paid from those positions on the top row. We only get paid on the positions from the bottom row. All right, so make sure that we'll go into more detail about that in a second, but make sure you're aware of that. Now again, you are using someone's referral link. Normally, again, now of course, some people come in and go to forsage.io, they register and they may be defaulted to the first ID. But of course, you do want to be sure that you sign up underneath the person who referred you, perhaps to this Zoom call, or they told you about it on Facebook, or whatever the case might be. So you want to make sure that you use their referral link, which can be found right here. All right, and that's going to forever tie you and your Tron ID, or your Tron address that's attached to the program forever. Okay, in theory. Now also be aware that the income slots, it's a one-time purchase. All right, so once you purchase them, they do not expire. You don't have to purchase them again. So that's the one of the fine things about this platform is that, again, once you pay for that income slot, that's it, you're done, and you move on to the next income slot accordingly. All right, and again, the income or the unlimited automatic reinvest, which you can see as these recycle icons, as I stated, when the positions get filled and that last position gets hit, it's going to reactivate the income slot and open up the income positions to be paid all over again. All right, so this is how it works when we come into the program, and that's basically how it's going to go. Now the income slots, we have 15 income slots for each program, okay, as opposed to 12 income slots like we had with Forsage Ethereum. Now it's the first income slot, as we know, it's going to be 100 Tron, and each income slot after that is going to double and be twice as much as the income slot previous to that. All right, so again, as we move up from 100 all the way to 1 million, what is that? 1,097,000 and something. So again, quite a lot of Tron. And it's the same with the X4. Again, you've got 15 pay positions, or rather 15 income slots that you can upgrade through. And once you open them all, you have 30 income, if you want to call it passive income, or income streams that you have access to, and that when people come in, either as your referral or as other people in the team build purchase in those positions, then once those payments hit you, again, they are effectively money that you're getting in as a continuous income stream that's perpetually happening. Right now, as your teams grow and more people get involved, you'll see a lot more activity with respect to getting payments in perhaps several times a day. So again, be aware that that's how many income slots that we have, and that's how it works, again, with each income slot being double the one preceding it. Okay, so we move on down to the registration. I already talked about the fact that it is 200 Tron to register. Also be aware that you do need a little bit of extra Tron in the wallet to cover the transaction fees, which are very little, and that's another reason why with Tron, they moved over to this, because for one, they can effectively have many more transactions taking place, unlike the Ethereum network that really got clogged up with so many DeFi projects coming out and so many other smart contracts that had a lot of, the way that it was set up, they had a lot of transactions that was pretty much clogging up the pipes. But again, here, with Tron, the transaction fees are very, very little. So again, basically you do want to have about, I'd say, an extra 20 to 50 Tron in your wallet, and of course more than that if you choose, but that's again 200 Tron to come in, which is going to be divided. Again, 100 is going to go into opening up X3, and 100 Tron is going to go into opening up the X4. Okay, now the way that X3 works, again, you've got your payments that effectively your ID is your Tron wallet, whether it's a Tron Link wallet, whether it's a Tron wallet.me, whether it's Clever.io wallet, whatever that might be, but your Tron address is effectively connected to your ID. So when people come in, whether it's on X3 or X4, but in this case X3, that first payment comes in, it will immediately go to you, 100% of it. All right, and instantaneously. You don't have to come in and manually withdraw. This is one of those platforms where it's going to end up instantly in your wallet without you having to do any extra work. All right. So likewise, when the second position is filled, that payment will also instantaneously go into your wallet. And likewise, the third payment will come in, but it will also instantly be paid to your upline. All right. In fact, your sponsor, because you're effectively paying your sponsor to reactivate that income slot. All right. And again, that's what happens for your referrals likewise, right? When people come in and they get to that recycle position, that payment's going to come up to you when they have to reactivate their income slot, right? Now, again, this is the same all the way up through to the 15th income slot for the X3. Okay, so essentially, that's how X3 works. X4, as I already stated, you can look at it as, think of it as two rows, right? You've got your top row and you have your bottom row. And with the top row, you can see these arrows indicating that the payment will go up and out to another person in your team, or it could even be within the entire global network. But as people rotate into this payment position, that payment, again, even if it's your own referral that comes in to fill that first position, that payment is going to go out to someone else in the network. Likewise with the second position, but on the bottom row, this is where you are going to get paid, just like you do on X3. It does go into your wallet instantaneously, not having to wait. There's nothing that you have to do manually. It just goes into your wallet. So again, one of the most beautiful parts of the system. So as you fill up all the way through to the last position, likewise, once it's filled, you're going to be able to reactivate that income slot, whether it's the first income slot or whether it's the 15th income slot. And then it opens up all of those payment positions again, allowing them to be filled. And typically the payments will come in, or in terms of the positions that get filled, usually it's the first box, but it's not always the first box. Sometimes it could be the second box that gets filled first, or it could be sometimes the second box on the bottom row that gets filled. All right, but ideally the payment positions are going to fill in first on the top, and then they will move from left to right on the bottom row. Again, X4, that's how it works. Now, reinvest, which I've already stated. Again, you are going to have to fill up the positions first before you get a reinvest. And as you see that recycle icon, you'll see, kind of spread all around on the dashboard and whatnot. But again, be aware when you see that icon, that means that you have recycled. You'll also see this in the statistics page, where you'll see, all of the detailed information about a transaction. And of course, you'll see that as a recycle position. So again, simply put, the recycle happens automatically without you having to do anything. Once the payment position comes in, it automatically goes up to your upline, or rather directly to your, and that payment will always go to your sponsor. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, reinvest, again, it's pretty simple. That's what happens. Once you fill the positions, we reactivate the income slots and it's ready to go. Okay, so upgrading. Now, most of you have already seen in the back office, if you're a member already. If you're not a member, you will see a shopping cart that is going to be preceding or rather it's going to come after the income slot that you already have opened. All right, so when you see this, you're going to need to tap onto that, and of course, it will open up it will ask you to confirm the payment, and you just click onto that, and then you'll be able to upgrade once you pay the appropriate amount of Tron to open up that income slot. You can also see this caution warning sign, which indicates that if you have filled up all of the positions and on the first round, if you haven't upgraded to the next income slot, you'll get this warning sign, meaning that if you were to receive, let's say, a fourth person who comes in to fill that income slot, then you wouldn't actually receive that payment, okay? Because what's happening is the system is incentivizing you to upgrade as opposed to just kind of staying at the income slot and not doing anything and just staying there for the life of your membership. Because what's going on is, you would be actually kind of holding up the system in terms of not upgrading and not contributing, so to speak, to the greater good of the entire network. So when you get this caution arrow, again, that means that you filled up your income slots. You filled up the payment positions underneath an income slot, and then again, you wouldn't receive the payments that come in after that. So But this doesn't affect the positions before that, or rather, this doesn't affect the income slots like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 would not have this warning sign that pops up. That only happens when, again, the payment positions are filled up, and again, if you haven't upgraded, then that's when you're going to end up seeing that position, or rather that icon. So be aware of that. Also, too, to note that if you don't upgrade, right, and again, one of your referrals actually upgrades before you do, then effectively you won't receive that payment, because a lot of times people will see that their own referrals have upgraded to the next income slot, and then they wonder, why haven't I received the payment? I know that my referral, they upgraded to the next income position. How come I'm not seeing the payment? Well, effectively, if you don't purchase the income slot before your referral does, then you don't have any access rights, right? Again, when we purchase these income slots, we're effectively purchasing a digital license for that income, all right? And to be able to continue to earn on that income. So again, if you haven't purchased it, but yet your referral or someone in your downline, one of your direct referrals has, then that means that, and that also goes with, let's say your referrals, if they decide to upgrade before their sponsor, you would actually receive the payment if you had the income slot open, but likewise you would still miss the payment if you didn't upgrade. All right, so be aware of that. This is why we want to this is why we want to make sure, hang on, this is why we want to make sure that we do upgrade, so that we kind of position ourselves in the event that we have uplines who don't, or rather if we have someone who in our downline who decides that they want to upgrade. Hang on one second, let me mute this. Naturally, things in the background. But however, though, we want to make sure that you upgrade, and that we all do, so that we can position ourselves to be able to receive that income that comes in. Because again, if someone overtakes their upline, you might be the next one in line to receive that payment. And that's, not good for your downline, or rather not good for your, for your downline, but as you would be able to position yourself to receive that payment. So again, another point to make about that, another reason why you do want to, open up those income slots as high as you can. Now, going on down here with the overflow, the overtaken, and returns. So this only happens on the X4, right? Well, you're going to see all of these different colored circles, right? These different tones that we've got. Now, again, as I stated before, the X4, it can be filled, all positions can be filled and more with your direct partners, all right? That is possible. So you don't necessarily have to wait for the overflow, or again, I don't like to call it spillover, because people come into this with their, let's say their sponsor or their upline telling them that, hey, sign up, you're going to receive spillover. It's just going to be one of those things where you can just kick back and not do anything. Well, it is possible, again, for you to receive payments if you have rotated into the top position, like I said, on the top row of someone within the network. But there are many thousands of people who come into even on one team, right? Some teams have within their team structure, 5,000, 10,000 or so members or more. And again, we want to make sure that we're not waiting to get put in a payment position. You want to be sure that you are, actively bringing people in if you're able to. It's not required, but again, you'll be able to, receive payments much more effectively and be much more in control if you're bringing people in yourself, right? As opposed to just coming into the program, not ever referring anyone in and waiting for spillover or these overflows. Again, the overflow, it really can be looked at as a bonus or a gift, not something that you want to wait around and depend on, or contact your upline and ask them, hey, how come I'm not receiving my spillovers, or how come I'm not getting paid? Well, again, it's random at best, and it's unpredictable. So again, like I said, with respect to bringing people in to fill up the X4, you can bring your own partners in. But yes, the overflow does work in the way that, if you see a light colored circle, and that means overflow from above, that means that you have rotated into a payment position into someone who is above your ID number. And when you do, effectively that payment that falls on their top line, it could be you. And if it is, then that payment's going to come in as a light colored blue circle, which indicates as overflow from above. And then with the darker blue circle, same idea, right? If you've rotated into position on someone's top row in the X4 and that payment comes up to you, then it's going to be viewed as overflow from below, okay? Now, of course, the pink colored circle here, this indicates that someone has...
Thank you for your listen. We are wait in the breakthrough how to success from Forsage.